Fear and Hunger 2 is a difficult survival horror game that is set in 1940s Europa during the Second Great War. The world, for the most part, is the same as our own. In this world, the Bremen army has invaded the country of Bohemia with the intentions of capturing just one key city, a lonely town named Prehevel. This town is where you and 13 other train passengers travel, each for their own reasons. After reminiscing on your own reasons for being in Prehevel, you doze off only to have an extremely strange dream. A girl with red shoes, a hall of strange beings, and a smiling moon with its servant Percole, who speaks on his master's behalf. Percole claims to have saved you, and explains that you have stepped into the Festival of Termina. The Festival of Termina is a jubilee of cosmic proportions, orchestrated by the trickster moon god Rear, and all of this told by the self-proclaimed intermediator of the moon god. Participation is up to you. But do you really want to see what happens at the end of the 3-day limit given to you? Also, please play this game on your own before watching my video. It's been like one of my favorite gaming experiences this year. It feels like it's been a long time since I've been like terrified by a game, and the story is pretty cool to experience at least one time on your own. Now that I've set the stage, what if you had no access to any other weapon other than the 2 God gave you? Yes, I decided to do a punch-only run on massive mode. I don't know what kind of crack I smoked to decide to do what basically equates to torture in Guantanamo, but I am here. My rules were I could use any items that buff me, heal me, or debuff the enemy. Any skills that don't do damage on my cast, things like Blood Golem, Rot, if I, decide to use them this run. I'll try to avoid using bugs, but I will take advantage of at least 2 in this run. 1 on accident, and then another on purpose. I do think that's about all my rules though. I cannot use any other weapon obviously than the 2 knuckle cannons equipped on the GOAT, Marcoh. Now I chose Marcoh because he's the only character that has access to quick jabs, which enables 2 unarmed attacks instead of just, the 1. I spent like an entire day thinking about how I was gonna pull this off, and I honestly thought it was kind of like an overreaction. It wasn't. I played through the intro, and as I was fighting this man with his meat out, I realized what kind of tomfoolery I had gotten myself into. I dealt 76 damage in each hit, resulting in like 152 total damage. Oh no. This is when I found out you deal 50% less damage in masochism mode, but the realization couldn't even set in before CBT over here did 75 fucking damage to me. This is also when I found out that the enemies deal 50% more damage. Anyways, I probably won't spend much time on my earlier runs, as honestly watching this first playthrough back, I must have been on like some reefer, because I have no clue what the fuck my plan even is here. Like, I'm going in the tunnel for some reason, and there's no reason for me to really be here besides the loot, because I can't even fight Chognar right now. I also had no clue what the fuck the Poe was. I heard this radio fucking making this noise. I was like, oh, I'm sure, whatever, it's fine. Then this fucking thing pops out, and I'm just absolutely flabbergasted at what I'm seeing. My first death happens after I ball up the sickle and knife villager. I'm thinking, it's not so bad, so I throw down with the pipe villager. And I learned very quickly that his limb HP is actually much higher than that of the other 2. The difference is kinda crazy, but I managed to disarm him. He keeps on fucking body checking me. I just desperately tried to kill him before he could body check me to death, and it resulted in an armless man throwing me into a pig pen to be eaten. Yippee! I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the run where like my game plan is solidified, because there has to be like 12 hours of me suffering. Speaking of which, let me explain my game plan. We must get the Salmon Snake rune. At least 6 of those 12 hours of me suffering had to be me safe scumming a chest to get the Salmon Snake rune. I wouldn't normally do this, but this item is absolutely necessary as it prevents limb loss, bleeding, critical state, and there is no way to guarantee it. But Rear was looking at my actions and probably had a giggle as I rolled for hours just to die and have to roll again. I said fuck it, I decided to restart, and RNGesus must have been looking down at my suffering, and he rewarded me with the Salmon Snake rune right out of the briefcase on the train. And then I fucked it up by going to sleep on the train because I spammed enter through the prompts when I was grabbing the combat manual and map. Anyways, that's when I had a big brain blast idea. Now that we have a vital part of our plan completed, we need another piece that will help us complete the puzzle. First, we need a skin Bible of Anushka so I can show the woodsman's wife my sick rendition of the rear symbol that she started. Before doing that though, I looted the starting area and went up this path to get lots of red herbs and some blue herbs. Going this way lets us reach the mayor's manor quicker so I can rob his bookshelves. After juking the two fellas having a lovely Wednesday afternoon, we murdered the villager outside of the mayor's house for loitering. You know, he made it personal by starting with a bear trap, but we guard those and kill him. Run into the mayor's office, ignore Jesus' request to go upstairs to meet the mayor, cause fuck him.
Like, what do you say fuck me for?
Immediately, I get the skin Bible of Anushka, and it's so hype. All we need is a Book of Enlightenment, holy shit, we got one. We find it in the fucking bookshelf in the mayor's office, and this shit is so hype because now I don't have to save scum anymore. After saving and talking to the mayor, I rush to the woodsman's house to show him the power of courage. Pop some pep pills because we need even more courage. Even with all that, it wasn't enough and we had to use a healing item, that fucker. After crippling him, we hit him in the face and end the fight. I draw a Venushka sigil in the basement of the woodsman's house while saying fuck you to Black Caleb, and I acquired the pinecone pig. Now that I have the goat, you know, because it's not actually the goat, but it's the pinecone pig, but you gotta pick between the pinecone pig and the goat. It's really a thinking man's joke. I can do devious actions and farm to 99 shillings on this moon-scorched dude on the dock. You can repeatedly harass this man enjoying the moonlight to the fullest extent for his entire net worth, assets and all. Every time you start a battle, the pinecone pig has a chance to give you an item from a pool. Among that pool is 1 or 2 shillings. You can also get healing items and mind healing items, including dark blue roots. I did this shit for about 3-ish hours, stopping in the middle to go to a personal event. I came back thinking about how if I died after all this, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown. But after I got 99 shillings, I could finally do the race. I ran to the sewer entrance where the rifleman is, neo his bullet so I can lockpick the gate and navigate the sewers to get to the city without having to deal with the onslaught that is the restaurant-ish area. When I get out of the sewers, I gotta run to the bookstore ASAP to not only stop moonscorching, but to hopefully RNG a God of Fear and Hunger book. I do make it to the bookstore neoing another bullet on the way in. I'm mashing while having mild anxiety as there is a Bobby in here that would be virtually impossible for me to kill right now. I mashed the bookshelves just hoping, and bam, Almir heard my call and gave me the book. I immediately ran upstairs to use the perfection circle to save. How about instead of going over how I died every time from this point, I play a montage as I frankly don't want to. After many times of getting my teeth kicked in, I came to the conclusion that I wouldn't be able to do anything without the hexen. And that means collecting all the effigies became my priority. Starting with the mold apartments, I actually managed to evade all the neighbors without much complications. Then the orphanage effigy was much more stressful with the lucky escape to get it. Before going for the church effigy, I decided to get the armor from the Bremen elite soldier as he can't kill me because he only attacks 1 time. Meaning as long as he doesn't do the exact amount of HP that I have, he cannot kill me. I need the armor to withstand Moonless's attacks, because I will have to fight her so I can get into the church without dropping the chandelier. Why? Well, if you don't drop the chandelier and instead enter the church through this elevator after you slip into a crack in a pillar, you can fight an optional boss fight which has Giga armor that I need. But I cannot fight her now. I just need the option available. Now to fight Moonless, I did something that might be frowned upon, but honestly, I had no idea how to approach this fight without it or bob and weave. So, I threw glass shards at Moonless. I'm just playing. You see how much time is left. But yeah, I was honestly racking my brain on how to fight Moonless and thinking about running through that alleyway where the mold apartments are. It's giving me like phantom pain. So I did what I had to do and we beat Moonless. I go in the left elevator to beat up Inapansta Tanaka for his monies, and because his head counts as a contestant's head. Connected to you know what the fuck, the telelectroscope, bro, for the lols. After that, I take the right elevator, leading to some mushrooms and the crypts hidden in the cracks of the pillars, and one of the pillars is the aforementioned elevator that takes you to the church dungeons. Inside the church dungeons is another perfection circle, which is another save point for moi, which I use immediately. After freeing the chain woman in the other dimension, I collected the last effigy and can finally access the underground path. We are so close to Donovan's house. Normally I would go left to either fight or avoid the priest, then right to dodge the pillarmen and not have to deal with the snails. But a fucking Poe spawns on the right. Somehow get out of this clusterfuck just for me to run into the cocoon. I use my ultimate move, Run, which is bugged and instant kills her for some reason. I like to think it isn't bugged and Marcoh is aura farming so hard that him simply walking away just kills Marina. But with that, I robbed her of her belongings and her dome piece to hit the digital dash towards Montenegro Kone Magnificat, who I threw glass shards at. Anyways, we beat up the blind man and I took one of his arms as a reward for bullying the disabled. And I finally make it to Donovan's house, which unlocks my ability to use the Hexen. God bless. With that, I can get most of Marco's skills, which are imperative to having this work. Mostly bob and weave, counter stance, and eventually adrenaline rush. But for now, we need to use our extra soul stone for the engraving of the god of fear and hunger to enable us to get an extra turn. Luckily, when I chose my intro, I decided to give Marcoh agility, as I knew soul stones were gonna be scarce, and engraving is the first skill you can learn off Marina's tree, giving me early access to an extra turn. I figured after saving, I should try to fight some of the Moonscorch contestants in the museum and learn how to fight them, because I have very limited healing items, and I don't have enough affinity with Sylvian to get loving whispers yet. Just kill Sam Marie and use the masturbation skill. Yeah, bro, that's what it's called. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I would do that, but... See, I'm relying on evasion and counterattacks to reduce damage and heal per turn. However, magic cannot be evaded or counterattacked, as it's not physical. Therefore, I gotta really think how to tackle Sam Marie before I do. Anyways, I hopped in there and was actually quite confident after killing Pocket Cat, but was quickly brought back down to earth by Mechanical Dance. I got off after that, and when I came back the next day, I felt like I would need more healing than the Leechmonger ring could provide me as of right now. I'm literally healing like 1 or 2 HP a hit, but if I get the Ring of Race, I can get the 8 HP heal on top of the Dark Root heal of 5 HP for a total of 13 HP heal a turn. Stonks. But I still needed to get the ring. There are 2 ways to guarantee a Ring of Race. The first being collecting 4 rust pearls for the Tainted One, a vendor who takes, rusted pearls. And the second option is to play Hangman with the ghosts using the Ouija board in the orphanage, and losing. We cannot open the door to get the Ouija board, so we had to use the rear sigil to go into the shadow world, so I could dig up the spots where the Rontiel spawn. That shit was bugged as hell, I think, though. I could only dig up like 2 of the spots where they're like, you're supposed to get 5 here. I just said fuck it, I'll take the 2 I can get here and go to Tunnel 1 where Chognar is. While I was collecting my rust-colored pearls, I got pincer maneuvered by Levi and Rontiel. I said fuck it, I might as well take the fight with Levi, he can only attack me 1 time. It turns out, you can't counterattack gunshots. Who would have thunk? But that won't save Levi from these hands. I backtracked through the sewers because fuck going through the main stairs. There's way too many enemies and chances to get trapped by them. Ran my way through the forest and beat up the headless dogs that were in the way of the tunnel. The fight with Chognar was one of the fights I had dreaded the most, as she has a move named Doomsday Trumpet that will kill you on the second time it is used. She has the anti-stall to my stall, but we know how to overcome this. Wild Dagger. I bought 2 of them from Dr. Keffer on my adventure to the orphanage. This will allow me to stun her head for hopefully long enough to be able to kill her. The first Wild Dagger must have only stunned her for like 1 turn because she got it off instantly. It's not ideal, but it's not over yet. We Wild Dagger again, and this time we get the max stun of 3 turns, which is exactly what I need. I heal just in case I don't evade the next attacks and completely forego guarding, because if I don't end this fight before the stun ends, I'm dead anyways. Luckily, my pure offense paid off and I killed Chognar. It was a big moment of triumph, as she was honestly the only Moonscorch that had me spooked because of Doomsday Trumpet. For now, I head to the basement to collect the rust colored pearls and turn on the teleelectroscope. Before entering the Upside Down, I looted the bookshelf for a book that felt so good to finally have. Alchemia Volume 1. With this book I can finally make mixed herbs to heal myself, which I have not had access to in this entire run. Once I enter, I triggered the first Rontiel and bait him out so I can safely loot the spot. I try to execute a similar movement on the next Rontiel, but he knows ball. Luckily, I can just easily escape, loot their dirt pile, and now I can fuck off back to the real world. Once I successfully fuck off, I know I need to save after so much progress. And once again, drawing a perfection circle in the train will allow me to save. As of this save, we have eliminated Marina, Levi, and Abella. That leaves us with Karen, Henrik, Dan, Osa, Olivia, Samory, Tanaka, and Caligura. And that's when it hit me. I can kill Valkyrie, Gentleman, Mechanical Dance, and Judgment for their heads, leaving Pocket Cat last so I can trade him for 2 Book of Enlightenments. I remember what I said when I had this realization.
I'm gonna come.
Before I stopped, I wanted to see what the Valkyrie fight was like. I tried going Unga Bunga on the chest, the first time failing because I didn't guard the javelin, and the next fight costing many of my healing items. I then proceed to the mayor's house, evading the Poe and killing the 2 gentlemen who were enjoying their night from earlier. I pulled up on the gentleman and also Unga Bunga'd his chest. I figured if I could kill Samory, that I would feel good about saving here. I used the elevator from earlier to easily get to the church dungeons. And enter the rear room to attempt that fight. She blew up 3/4 of my HP bar and I say, oh no. However, it seems my brain is not activated yet as I'm trying to use bob and weave / counter stance when she has only a magic attack. But I also came to the conclusion that I would probably need diplomacy and persuade to have her skip a turn to give me even more of a chance to win this fight. I stopped here for the day, feeling extremely good now that I had a plan to beat the game. The next day, after defeating Karen, I felt like I desperately needed skills from the Hexen, but I would need some soul stones, which I was severely lacking. At first, I tried to rectify this by pinecone pig farming for ratkin heads, and after about 30 minutes of my brain melting, I said nope, let me just try this with only persuade and diplomacy, because they were the only ones I could afford and utilize right now. After grabbing my skills, I went to the museum to kill Mechanical Dance and Judgment so I could afford the 2 Books of Enlightenment for Pocket Cat before also killing him. This leads to one of my favorite interactions in the game, where the Pocket Cat breaks the 4th wall and remarks how the ominous moon and the word Termina seem so oddly familiar, which has got to be a nod to Majora's Mask. My fight with the Pocket Cat ensues with him ripping off my limbs despite not being able to, and whispering, whatever in my ears. Gotta be pretty messed up to paralyze someone. But for the most part, this fight is the same as most others, except I just aim for his head, as it's very unlikely he'll kill me. We catch the dub after a very, very long fight. Now I want to save, but I also want to kill Osa before I save. I traveled to the Hexen to see my broke asses broke, and after spending my 1 soulstone on advanced botany, I said fuck it, let's go fight Osa. And right before the fight with Osa, I just did not equip any magical protection, which is why what happened next happened. After just getting fuckied for about 3-ish hours, I said I need more skills from the Hexen, specifically stat bonuses offered with, Tanaka Soul, Max Gororoth Affinity, and Sylvian as well. And to do this, I need to take advantage of one more bug, and as much as I wanted to farm Ratkin heads with the Pinecone Pig, I didn't. So, what is the bug? Well, if you go to the orphanage, head to the leftmost room and kill the cherub in the room above the aforementioned room. This cherub will have an infinitely soluble head, meaning a never-ending source of soul stone shards as long as you have a bone Okay, well, this is extremely unlucky, and Rear probably had his hand in it, but I take the 69 cherub heads, along with some other heads I obtained to trade in for a total of 31 soul stones. With these, I bought all of Henrik's skills, Marina's skills, Olivia's skills, most of Dan's skills despite me never using them, and Tanaka's stat boost. Hello, it's the me editing this right now. It seems I underwent some sort of schizophrenic delusion because in my script I write about some shit that I just can't find anywhere in my footage. So I'm just gonna pretend I do not see. But what I do see here is I locked in? finally kill Osa and I stop greeting my saves, because if I have to kill everyone again, I might lose it. Once I drop my save, I go to fight Samurai as I need blood sacrifice and masturbation. I'm sorry bro, that's what it's called. So I can get max affinity with Grogaroth and an extra level with Sylvian from the circles drawn in the orphanage. I realized that I had been overcomplicating her fight, and going caveman brain on the head to finish the fight as quick as possible was the move. It was indeed very effective, ending the fight before she could even cast one hurting on me. I went back to Donovan's house to grab Samurai's skills, but somehow completely forgot to grab them, which I didn't realize until I was already at the fucking orphanage, so I had to run my ass all the way back to Donovan's house while avoiding the freaks, then all the way back, then all the way back again. Thankfully, this was the last time I'd have to do this. I grabbed Necromancy, Blood Golem, and Black Orb, so I could grab the 2 attack ups along with Pheromones and both Healing and Loving Whispers along with the +1 magic defense. I need to fight Caligura and one more other fight before I decide to drop my last Book of Enlightenment. I entered the sewers where Caligura's bitch ass is waiting to ambush me. I decide to summon Blood Golem and Pheromones him so he can get beat the fuck up by Monster's Hanky Panky attack. This really enables me to go full offense on his arms. When the Blood Golem hit 12 HP, I decided to give him a little heal so I could make a little more progress on the arms before he bought the farm. I did have most of the arms killed once the Blood Golem died, but I still had to Loving Whispers myself and beat his ass for about 5 more turns before he finally died. Now for the final fight before I save, the Heartless one. This boss is probably the hardest boss I've fought in this game, even playing normally, so I of course give myself the regen herbs, evasion buff from food, and I forgot to use the heroin. Well, I'm here now, so I activate counter stance to get ready for some tomfoolery, and well, I fucking lied earlier about not having to go back to the orphanage again, but I told myself I would beat this tomorrow. But I couldn't just let it go like that, knowing I was so close to victory. It was lingering in my head rent-free, so at around 1 in the morning, I hopped back on Termina to finally beat this challenge. I gave Dysmorphia CTE one more time and proceeded to punch Caligura in the balls one last time. I am finally back to fight the Heartless one, and this time, I won't fuck it up. Before starting the fight, I buff evasion with Mushroom Stew, Heroin, and finally, regen herbs. On top of this, I opt to swap the Hardened Heart for the Leechmonger ring, and it was so worth it. My counter stance to start the fight and got hit by both of her left arm swings. Not ideal, but then I got hit with the Pillar of Light for a whopping 51 damage, damn near killing me right then and there. I attacked her since I didn't want to waste my Rift points, and it wouldn't be a bad heal either. I knew her end turn attack was coming, so I thought if I could condense nettle her left arm, which uses the attack, it would be able to stop it. This was not the case, but the lower hit rate was still greatly appreciated as Marcoh uses Ultra Instinct to dodge the 7-hit attack. This turn I summoned Blood Golem to use pheromones on him so she would beat his ass. And the goat hits a 450 damage crit. He immediately lost 90 HP and his left arm. It was rough watching as he was getting bullied in front of me and I could do nothing but observe. His death did provide me the opportunity to nettle her right arm, even though I'm pretty sure besides the sun effect, the hit rate won't apply because it's a magic attack. This fight has the same pattern as most fights: dodge, counterattack, attack/buff on my extra turns, and block on my regular turn. But I did have a lot more close calls than I remembered having. However, none of the close calls were as close as the one as I had when I finally took away her left arm. Normally, once you kill her left arm, it shouldn't be too bad to deal with her right arm, especially if you have Noshra's head. But back to the most anxiety I had in a single moment that I had felt in an eternity. I get hit by a Pillar of Light, and I'm thinking to myself, well, she only uses Pillar of Light into Curse of Light, so I go for some damage on the arm. I get pillared one more time, bringing my HP to 16, and the Feather Ring comes. If I get hit by 4 of these 9 attacks, I am dead. This moment where Marcoh was standing tall against the rain of feathers is burned into my memory as I thought this game was about to give me more trauma.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Almir was looking down on me and said, "No, my child. Not yet." I managed to destroy her last arm. This fight is basically finished at this point. It's just me abusing her torso until a bug makes her torso heal, but it's still the same thing. And with that, I now have the Darkness armor, which on top of being the best armor in the game, I wanted it because I assumed I'd be fighting Rear. And well, I mean, do I really need to explain why I think he'd do otherworldly damage? As soon as I got back to Donovan's house, I dropped my last Book of Enlightenment, so I only have to fight the final boss, and it'll all be over. I sprint to the moon tower and interact with the door as I honestly don't know what's about to happen. The door opens and I realize I'm in an elevator, so I think this is my time to buff. I am correct, and it brings me to Percolate and Rear. And now, this is big lore, so I'm actually reading this since I've never seen it before. We learn here that Percolate and his boys have hijacked the festival for the revival of their god, the Sulphur god. Now, I would love to yap more about this, but that's not what this video is for. Percolate follows very similarly to the Heartless one where I counterstance, nettle both limbs, but this time I focus on Percolate's right arm as it deals magic damage, which we can't do shit about. But his wing goes down pretty easily and we can get to work without much worry on the other arm. This is a mistake, as once Percolate has no arms, he'll cast spells, which forces me to use a lot of my mind to heal, which will bite me in the ass soon to ya. If you know, you know. It does get worse though, because Buddy starts black orbing me. Now I'm pissing myself because that's 60 damage to me every time he uses it, meaning I have to heal whenever I fall like below 50 HP. Anyway, this song and dance did not last long as I triple revved him in the back of the fucking head, and it was finally time. Here he is, the trickster moon god, Rear. That was probably not actually him, just his traces that he left behind, which is insane to think about. Oh yeah, I also activated Bob and Weave and failed the coin flip because I had no clue it existed, and died. Well, that's honestly okay, cause Percolate was not that bad, and now I know I have to keep his left wing intact so I can just beat up his head without Black Orb chunking my HP. But once we dealt with Percolate, it was time for my rematch. We win the coin toss this time and we can get into the battle. Well, to be completely honest, this one wasn't as exciting as the Heartless one or even Percolate. Once my buffs were in place, it would become attacking, buffing on my extra turns, and guarding on my regular turn to reduce damage and avoid the coin flip attack. Though I did need to drop a Loving Whispers around the beginning of the fight when I was around 30 HP to ensure a Moon Scorch wouldn't kill me. I had a turn where I wanted to test my luck for a third time, and after using my extra turn to pop Bob and Weave, I triple revved and attacked instead of guarding the coin flip attack. Which honestly I don't remember if it was a mistake or if I was making a case in my head where I don't want to greed for the rev charges and it's more important than the coin flip. Either way, the fuck. And on top of me being more than likely contented with flipping the coin, I'm definitely flipping 2, but I fucking miss input and only flip 1. Luckily, I don't pay the price for my own hubris and I can keep the fight going. Sometime in the middle of this, I felt very confident that this was it. And I was finally gonna beat the run, so I turned my mic on in OBS to capture my reaction. Yes! 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 Let's fucking go, bro. Let's fucking go. With that, I finally completed my punch-only Marcoh run and I could rest. I'm just kidding, I still had to make the video. But seriously, Fear and Hunger has become one of my favorite game series, with its unique limb combat system and its amazing lore and storytelling, and downright disturbing atmosphere. If only my first playthrough was recorded, that would be some great content. But that's enough yapping for me. If you liked the game, be sure to check it out on Steam. Hopefully the new update will be out soon, but we'll see. If you liked the video, like it, let me know if you want to see more of this game in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to see whenever I'm gonna post. I'm gonna try to make posting a more consistent thing, so please bear with me. And last but not very least, thank you for watching. Bye!